So welcome everybody to our next webinar series here with the U.S. Pain Foundation and Migraine at School. Tonight's webinar is the International Children's Advisory Network, also known as iCAN, wants you. And so tonight we have two presenters. It is Sabina Schmidt-Goldstein and Abby Clark from iCAN. Amy, can you move to the next slide? Okay, so we're just going to go over some housekeeping items, have some introductions, then we'll have the presentations, then finally we'll do a little Q&A session at the end. Go ahead, next slide. So as I mentioned, tonight is a collaborative effort between the U.S. Pain Foundation's Pediatric Pain Warrior Program, which I am the executive director of. My name is Casey Cashman, for those that don't know me. And the U.S. Pain Foundation's mission is to empower, educate, connect, and support all of those individuals who live with chronic diseases that cause pain. And we do that through several different we have several different resources at the Pediatric Pain Warrior Program. Our biggest one right now is the summer camp that we have registration open for. It is a 5-day, 4-night summer camp that we are so excited for. Registrations will close on March 20th, and applications can be found on our website or on any of our social media channels. Other than that, we have several resources such as school resources, just different handouts that may be beneficial to you. And then we do offer peer-to-peer support groups for children that are age 13 to 17, as well as a caregivers one. So please don't hesitate to reach out. But if you go to the website listed right there, you can get more resources that we have available. And Amy, would you like to talk about Migraine at School?
Sure. So hello, everyone. I am Amy Graham. I am the Executive Director of Migraine at School. We are a national initiative, and we exist to help families navigate the complicated journey of living with pediatric migraine. We all know that migraine is sort of a spectrum disorder. So depending on where you fall, we have the resources that you need to help you and your family. Some of those resources include understanding the 504 process, getting a healthcare plan for your children at school. We work very closely with the U.S. Pain Foundation and their pediatric program. So I would say that a lot of what we have easily translates to anybody living with pain. We have a parent page on our website, so I would say that's the best place to start. We sort of start you at step one and guide you through the journey of wherever you may be in terms of what you need for your child. And you can find us at migraineatschool.org.
Thank you, Amy. And we really appreciate all of the collaborative efforts that obviously the two of us work on together. Okay, next slide. So some housekeeping items. This webinar is educational only. U.S. Pain Foundation and Migraine at School do not recommend or endorse one treatment, therapy, or product. Questions will be taken at the end. To ask a question on Zoom, type in the question into the Q&A icon at the bottom of the screen. Please make sure to try and keep the questions on topics that are being discussed tonight. And all webinars are being recorded and will be posted at a later date. So now we're going to meet our presenters. So we have Abby Clark is a designer, problem solver, and coordinator who is experienced in creating and delivering patient-facing visual materials, as well as coordinating projects with key stakeholders in the pediatric healthcare world. She developed her passion for the pediatric advocacy space during her time at Georgia Institute of Technology, where she gained her bachelor's in LMS with a concentration in interactive media and design. As Director of Operations for iCAN, Abby strives to empower pediatric patients to feel confident in themselves and in the knowledge that they truly are the experts in their own conditions. She believes that by uplifting the pediatrics patient's voice, all facets of healthcare will be more accessible to every child around the world. Well, thank you, Abby, for being here. And next, we have Sabina Schmidt Goldstein is a dynamic leader propelled by a profound passion for prioritizing the pediatric patient perspective in medicine, innovation, and research. With a background as both an educator and the daughter of a neonatologist. Ooh, that's like a tongue twister for me as I'm trying to read this. Sabina embarked on her journey into pediatric empowerment early, accompanying her father to conferences where she gained a deep understanding of the importance of centering children's needs in decision-making processes. Sabina's academic endeavors included her achievement of a Master's of Arts in Teaching and preliminary multiple subject teaching credentials from the University of Southern California and a Bachelor's of Arts in Psychology and Social Behavior from the University of California, Irvine. Attest to her steadfast belief in prioritizing the child's viewpoint and recognizing the significance of holistic child development in shaping institutional frameworks and practices. Furthermore, as a teacher at heart, Sabina comprehends the pivotal role children play as stakeholders in healthcare. These experiences have fueled her passion to ensure that pediatric patients' perspectives are not merely acknowledged, but deeply valued within medical research and practice. In her capacity as the Director of Educational Programs and Development at iCAN, Sabina spearheads initiatives aimed at empowering pediatric patients to actively participate in shaping their healthcare experiences and the pediatric landscape, as well as their trajectories within it. She has crafted engaging curricula focused on careers in healthcare and the regulatory landscape, collaborating closely with healthcare professionals and educators to ensure program relevance and effectiveness. Sabina's leadership is characterized by her unwavering dedication to creating inclusive environments where pediatric patients feel empowered to voice their opinions and contribute meaningfully to healthcare decision making. Her vision is to forge a future where every child's perspective is acknowledged and respected in pediatric medicine, innovation, and research. So wow, both of you guys have such a strong passion, and I can't thank you guys enough for being here tonight and helping everybody learn a little bit about what iCAN is. So we will turn it over to one of you. I'm not sure which one's starting, so I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Casey, for having us here. Abby, if you could go ahead and share the slide deck, I would appreciate it.
I will say it's not letting me screen share what the other participant is sharing. So unfortunately, thank you so much. Let me go ahead and pull that up then. Okay. Can everyone see the screen okay?
Yes, perfect.
Perfect. That's not what I wanted to do here. Okay.
Okay. So again, as Casey had mentioned, we're from the International Children's Advisory Network, also known as iCAN. And then Abby, next slide. Perfect. Okay, so my role has shifted a little since I wrote the bio. So my new role is Executive Director of iCAN. Yay, I'm excited. And
well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And essentially in my role, I act as a liaison between our different stakeholders, between industry, our sponsors, and patients and parents, and ensuring that our kids really have a voice, as Casey underscored through my bio. I also collaborate with different experts for the curriculum. I host Ask the Experts, as well as wear a number of different hats. And then Abby, I'm going to go ahead and pass it to you to go ahead and tell everyone your role and what you do.
Thanks, Sabina. And thank you so much, Casey, and also Amy, for the wonderful introduction. We're really excited to be here tonight to share more about iCAN and what we do as an organization. My name is Abby Clark. I'm the Director of Operations at iCAN, and my role includes working closely with Sabina in any support she needs, and also kind of running the day-to-day operations within the organization. And heading up our summit planning, which is our largest event that we put on in the summer. We'll talk a little bit more about that later.
Thank you, Abby. So first, we're going to start it off with what is iCAN, because we want to make sure that everyone understands exactly what we are. So we are a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to empowering every single child everywhere on a global scale to make sure that we can improve pediatric health, medicine, research, and innovation. And how do we do it? By sharing their voices. Just so you know, a lot of our kids actually do have medical diagnoses, and that's how we impact the pediatric realm, is getting these kids who have diagnoses to share their voice. Also, it's not just the kids, it's also families. We want to make sure that our parents are prioritized too, that things don't work from the top down, but they work from the bottom up in terms of treatment plans, study designs, educational materials. We want to make sure their voices are heard. We are a global consortium of 36 chapters. So we have chapters all the way in Africa to all the way in the United States, which is super exciting, and we're continuing to grow. We actually just had a call this morning with someone in South Africa who is interested in developing a chapter within his hometown. So we were super excited about that. And just so you know, we are official partners of the FDA and a number of different other industry partners as well. We have clubs in high schools. We also have clubs that are associated with hospitals as well. And we are also affiliated with a number of nonprofits, and we are looking to grow our connections to nonprofits and other partners as well.
Thank you, Sabina. So I do want to just reiterate that we're kind of a global organization. We're international, and like Sabina said, we have 36 chapters all around the world, many of whom are associated with children's hospitals. Maybe they already have teen advisory boards, but a number of them are associated with clubs and other like-minded nonprofits. And we like to say that iCAN is an advisory board for the world. And so we are all, like as Sabina said, we're always looking to kind of grow our chapters. Chapters are completely free to start, and kind of iCAN likes to provide supplementary education and opportunities to local kids and their chapters to really get a kind of global focus. Our largest event that we host is the iCAN Summit, which we'll talk a little bit about later, but that is our kind of highlight flagship program that helps include everyone from all around the world. We bring 3 kids, if not more, from all of our chapters across, and where you see the hearts on the map, in order to come to our summit every year. This upcoming summit will be in Bari, Italy, but we switch back and forth between the EU and North America, wherever we may have a chapter. So we're really excited about this upcoming summit this year, but also potentially growing our kind of global connection. And we believe that all children around the world, every kid everywhere, deserves to have a voice and deserves to have their conditions and stories shared. And we just do our best to kind of create global opportunities for that.
Thank you, Abby. So as we mentioned before, our members are kids. So we have a number of different groups. So we have our chapters that have kids from age 8 to 18. And of course, we're very flexible with those age ranges. But then we also have a number of other chapters and networks that we're going to talk about further down the road. And those might be opportunities that you want to get involved in. But since our members are kids, I do want to let you know that 95% of our kids have a medical diagnosis, whether it be rare, chronic, or complex. Though 5% of our members don't have any diagnosis at all and have joined iCAN as allies. And of course, we are welcome to any kid. We want to make sure that those voices are heard, because kids participate in the pediatric landscape, regardless if they have a medical diagnosis or not. And our youth are expert in their medical diagnoses, and they share their voices. As part of the kids within our chapter, they take on 3 roles. They are experts in advising, they're experts in research, and they are also experts in storytelling, telling their own stories. So we're going to start off with Miss Kaylee. Miss Kaylee started with iCAN when she was very young. Actually, there's a video that Abby's going to play, and it was taken not too long after the inaugural summit that Abby has been talking up. And it's just amazing to see her in this video as young as she is. And now she got accepted to Jack State and is off to pursue a nursing career. So she's still impacting medicine. And we so appreciate her for doing that and making sure that the pediatric landscape is going to be ever changing. So I'm excited to go ahead and play Kaylee's video so you can see Kaylee and the impact that iCAN has actually had on her as an advisor.
When I asked my parents, why do I have to do something? They said, because I said so. But iCAN gives me that say to say, if a shot hurts, it hurts. If it doesn't work, it does not work.
I don't think we can hear it anymore. Or am I the only one who can't hear it?
Because doctors and
There we
pharmacists
go.
say, well, she understands, then we can understand too, and then we need to take what she's saying. It's very important. So by us having that voice, is giving children another day to see, another hug to give their parents. And it's really important that you understand that having a children's voice is so important because it's saving another child's life. We understand what we're going through because we're the ones who are being put in that position. iCAN makes me believe that God chose me to have pain sometimes to help somebody else.
How he was feeling or what didn't feel good or what didn't feel right. And iCAN gave me the comfort of knowing that anyone who knows Kaylee knows that she doesn't have a lack of any words, but she certainly needed an opportunity to have that the words that she said be impactful and the words that she spoke to actually mean something. It was easy for her to just talk and say things, but it was just empowering for her to be able to sit among other children who did or didn't have any medical issues and talk to actual physicians and actual pharmacists to talk about what it was that she experienced, that she was going through, things that I couldn't even understand, things that I couldn't even imagine how to explain to them. So it was empowering for her, and it was encouraging for me to see my daughter, who should seem to have, no voice, to have something that filled the room. It was amazing, and I'm so grateful for iCAN. I'm so grateful for Kids Georgia, and I'm so grateful for what it is it's training my daughter to be, which is a voice.
iCAN inspires me to speak up for younger kids who can't speak up for themselves. To listen when people are hurting. iCAN inspires me to make a difference in this world. For all the times that I can't, iCAN inspires me to believe that I can. Because of iCAN, every shot, every drop of medicine, I don't take it for myself. I do this because I believe it's going to help somebody else.
So Kaylee was featured there, and she's just an amazing young woman, and we are so honored to have her and privileged to have her as part of iCAN. And I hope to see her at the summit this year as well. I saw her last year, and her words were so impactful. She actually served on a panel with a number of different kids, and she was speaking to doctors and telling them her experience as a patient to make that change in the pediatric realm. And then our next kid is going to be Megan, and she's a storyteller. She tells her story, and that's how she changes the pediatric landscape. And she actually was also on that panel with Kaylee, and she spoke to so many doctors about her experience and through that lens, they were really able to gain insight into who she was as a person, just beyond, just a patient. She's a kid and she has so much to share about her story.
So I do not. To my doctors, I have to remember to cath every 3 hours, sit afterward every 3 hours, and remember to take my medicines. Though I do not give myself all of my medicines like Didrapan and Miralax, though I do take Culturel and Senecot by myself.
What is your life like?
My life is like any other kid's life. I like to sing, laugh, play, listen to music. The only difference is I am in a wheelchair and therefore cannot do it the same way. And also that what I am doing could be interrupted by having to cath every 3 hours.
What are your future plans?
Sorry.
That's Megan. And believe it or not, she is 9 years old in that video, which is amazing that she can articulate herself so well. And again, she's so inspirational. When I met her at the summit last year, I was literally brought to tears by her just essence and her inspirational being. And then our kids are also, oh, sorry, Abby, can you go to the next slide?
Mhm.
Thank you. Our kids are also researchers. So annually at the summit, a lot of the kids in the chapters do research and they're able to use the summit as a platform to share their research. And we have a ton of the kids' abstracts on in the hall, and they're able to present and share with each other and with industry professionals, medical professionals, and share their research throughout the year and what conclusions they got from their studies, which is so high level, especially considering we have such a range of kids from 8 to 18 who are sharing these meaningful research projects. And they're really understanding the scope of research and what it takes to be a researcher. And then next slide, Abby.
So just to reiterate a little bit more about iCAN, as a worldwide network, iCAN's chapters kind of work around the world to provide a voice for children and families. And like I said before, chapters are partnered with hospitals, schools, and other like-minded profits. But iCAN is very flexible and very easy to work with in terms of starting a chapter. We love to just be able to give as many kids as possible, as many global opportunities as possible. And so we'll talk a little bit more later about what those opportunities may or may not look like. But just know that all of iCAN's opportunities that we give are voluntary, and we're very excited to be able to share them. I will say we also have a number of other wonderful programs other than our CORE's Kids Chapter program. We have a youth council, a parent council, a young adult professionals network, and as well as newly this year, a siblings chapter. We have all of these wonderful different groups because we realized that the kids loved being in iCAN and loved being a part of the main cohort, which is, typically around ages 8 to 18. But when they kind of graduated from that age range, they were starting their early career, or their families wanted to be able to participate more, including their siblings or maybe their parents. We really wanted to make sure that we could provide the entire caregiver network, entire family and support system with ways to interact with iCAN, ways to share their own voices, because we know that as siblings, as parents, as young adults, they'll have a different perspective than the kids, but one that's just as important. Our youth council is youth-led, and so is our young adult professionals network. Our youth council is led by 2 co-chairs, and they are put on projects like research projects and different activities. They bring in their own speakers, but the youth council really acts as iCAN's North Star. So iCAN always wants to ensure that all of the activities that we provide, all of our services, our programs, and our sessions at the summit are really hitting the mark on what the kids kids want and what they need. And so we go to the youth council for almost everything and make sure that they have input on iCAN's decisions. Our parents' council is doubly as important. Our parents' council is also led by 2 wonderful volunteer co-leaders, and have previously put out guidelines about interacting with industry and understanding clinical research for parents in order to be able to help them support and make sometimes really difficult decisions, and make the most informed decisions that they can about their children's care. The parent council also acts as a kind of a community of parents who have children who may or may not be with us anymore, who are going through a condition, or who have kind of graduated and are kind of spreading their wings. And they're able to come together and give those shared experiences as a form of connection and comfort. So our parent council is open to all parents. You don't necessarily have to have a child who is interested or even a part of iCAN. We welcome all parents to be a part of this group and help inform the group's decisions and actions. At the summit, we also have adult-specific and parent-specific sessions where the adults can come and learn on different topics and interact with the parents in an in-person setting. All of these groups, I want to say, are virtual. iCAN is a mostly virtual organization, with our physical locations being the chapters themselves, and of course our in-person summit that we've had every year. Okay, we also have our new siblings program, because we know that siblings have a voice too, and they also need their own place where they can find comfort and support. And that is newly kicking off this year. We welcome anyone who has children or siblings who think they might be interested in joining in. You can also join and be a part of the siblings or youth council if you are a youth member who is really interested in participating or learning more about medicine or innovation or STEM. There's lots of opportunities to engage that way. We also understand and want to highlight the importance of the pediatric patient caregiver input, particularly in healthcare clinical trials, research, device, and drug development. But we do offer sessions on things like careers in healthcare, diversity in clinical trials, and transition of care. And so there are so many topics that iCAN likes to touch on, all at kind of the behest of our kids and their interests.
Thank you, Abby. So you might wonder, how does iCAN actually provide this feedback? And so we actually work with industry in what I call the feedback loop. So it's iCAN's feedback loop. So essentially what we do is we partner with a number of different industries. For example, a new one that we just partnered with is Biomodem. And essentially they wanted feedback on their robotics exoskeleton, and which is an assistive device. And so what they did was they put together a survey and we reviewed it to make sure it was kid friendly. And from there, we actually disseminated the survey among our kid group. So we're talking about all 36 chapters globally, and also our youth council, our virtual chapter, and we're having them take this survey that provides feedback on this exoskeleton, robotic exoskeleton. And through that feedback, the industry, Biomodem, will get feedback on what the kids like about it or what to change about it. And if Biomodem can actually go ahead and incorporate those changes that the kids have made, all 36 chapters around the globe, then they can actually earn the iCAN seal of approval. And then Abby, if you could go to the next slide. Yes. Oh, sorry. Can you go to the iCAN seal of approval one? Sorry, I changed the order, but I don't know if it.
Oh, you're fine.
There we go. Sorry. So what we have is a seal of approval program. So it's a resource available to any organization, company, or group that seeks the input of our children and families for their projects or products. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a product like the Biomodem example. It could be, for instance, a consent form, and our kids review the consent form. Or it could be another partner that we have right now is Kismet, and we're reviewing their telehealth program. And so through our review and through them fixing it, however it is legally possible, then those companies, organizations, or groups can get the iCAN seal of approval, which means that it's kid reviewed and kid approved. And that seal means a lot to us and also to our partners, because that means that, our kids reviewed it, they provided feedback, they're listening to our kids' opinions. And that's where we want to be. We want to take kids where they need to be to have their voices heard. And the iCAN seal of approval shows us that industry is listening to us, that organizations are listening to us. And it's just an amazing program that we have. So if you have a product or a project that needs to be reviewed by kids, let us know and we would love to partner with you.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Sabina. And so why should you join an iCAN chapter? So at iCAN, we believe every kid everywhere should be heard, whether or not you have a medical diagnosis or not. Like I've mentioned before, joining and starting an iCAN chapter is free and also fun for all of the kids. We encourage all of the iCAN chapters to coordinate their programs and their activities to what their specific local kids want to do. And so lots of different, lots of kids chapters will do things like bring in speakers or go on field trips. But in general, we encourage all of the iCAN kids to join a chapter in order to help industry regulators and clinicians understand what it's like to be a kid, because kids are not little adults. They have to be, their considerations and opinions and expertise in going and their experience living with a drug or device, going in and out of the hospital system, they're the best people to know what they specifically need. And so we want to encourage and make sure that all of industry regulators and clinicians really hear and understand their perspective, so we can create meaningful change and make sure that all of the programs, patient-facing materials, clinical trial guidelines and procedures are the most effective and the most viable for all of the kids. I do want to also mention these are all of our kids at the past summit. And so you can see there's a lot of camaraderie and friendship and fun, but also kids from all around the world. The top 3 kids, 2 were from our kids chapter in Bari, 1 is from our kids chapter in Italy. We have representation from our kids chapter in Illinois, in California, and also all over the world in just these 3 pictures. I want to also say that we offer speaking opportunities all the time to different organizations, but also at the summit. So we want to make sure kids are able to share the voice with all sorts of different health stakeholders in healthcare. We have sent kids to speak at the FDA, the AAP, American Academy of Pediatrics conference and summit. And so there's so many different opportunities and great ways for kind of kids to get their voices out there. We also offer opportunities that are not speaking opportunities for kids who may not feel comfortable getting up on the stage and talking to people. I mean, I hardly do. So I want to make sure that kids all in our organization are able to participate and share their stories in ways that we can. So we offer projects like our most recent anthology project, where we had kids provide kind of their experiences and opinions on why pediatric patients should understand and participate in clinical trials, why it was important that kids participate in research, and they shared their essays, their art pieces, their illustrations, all on this topic. And so we offer lots of different opportunities, not just speaking ones, but throughout the year as well. And of course, being a part of an iCAN chapter means that your kids and you might be able to meet kids worldwide at the iCAN Summit. And that really is such a special, it's a week-long event, and it's so special because we often see kids who come together who maybe feel like they're the only kid in the world at their school or in their city who have a condition or have to go to the hospital or have to live with an assistive device. And you come together and you meet all of kids around the world who maybe don't have the same medical journey as you, but you have shared experiences and you're able to connect. And we see that all the time at the summit, and it's such a special way to kind of interact with each other and really build community and support.
Thank you, Abby. So you might ask, what do iCAN chapters do? And remember, to start an iCAN chapter and to be part of an iCAN chapter is completely free. So definitely take advantage of that. And you have all these opportunities that you can do as part of an iCAN chapter. So just so you know, every single iCAN chapter is unique, and every single iCAN chapter follows its own trajectory. They all do different things. So for instance, one of our chapters, Walter Payton, they did a field trip to Northwestern. That was something that they chose to do on their own. You can also invite and learn from guest speakers. One of our chapters holds monthly guest speakers. Every single month, they invite someone in and they have someone who's an expert speak, almost like our own Ask the Experts, which Casey is actually going to be joining us on. So we're super excited for that. And then they also volunteer in community service activities. So we had our Kids Rady, based in San Diego, put together bags for kids with diabetes who needed help with their dietary needs, and they did that. We also encourage leadership. So just like Abby said, we offer these opportunities for them to speak at conferences, but not only that, like they're able to participate in projects like the Voices of iCAN, where they are able to write and go beyond just speaking if they're not comfortable in that format. Also just participate in iCAN activities like Ask the Experts, our surveys and focus groups, which I talked about before with the iCAN feedback loop. They can also join us at the official, which we're so excited about because registration is live tomorrow and we're just so enthusiastic. The annual summit, which this year will be hosted in Bari, Italy. So kids come to that and they collaborate with industry leaders and medical professionals and other kids, and they build that camaraderie. It's an amazing experience. Especially last year was my first summit, and I myself was very touched by everything that happened and all the discourses that took place. And then again, we foster a shared community. That's number one at iCAN. We want to make sure that the kids feel like they're part of the iCAN family. And actually, after that summit, I felt like I was part of the iCAN family and I didn't even want to leave because the kids were so amazing. And just the whole entire iCAN staff was amazing as well, and the leadership team.
Thank you. So what is the process for starting a chapter? Starting a chapter really is very easy and very flexible. And so you would work one-on-one with Sabina and I and our leadership in order to kind of develop and kind of start your chapter in whatever form fits you best. So if you're working in a hospital, you already work, you're a child life specialist, maybe you already have a teen advisory board, great. We would love to kind of consider that teen advisory board under the iCAN umbrella, and we would count you as a kids chapter and send you supplemental opportunities, and as well as our opportunity for stipends to go to the summit every year. If you are a teacher at a school and you're interested in starting a club, we would be more than happy to help you start that. If you have never kind of heard of iCAN and you're not a teacher, you're not a child life specialist, either way, connect with us. We would love to help you start one. There's no cost to starting a chapter. I will say some chapters provide pizza or food or something at their chapter leader meetings, but for iCAN itself, there's no cost. And there's a couple of steps that we recommend. And we also have a chapter startup packet that goes into this information in greater detail, as well as provides example chapter bylaws and a chapter startup agreement. So if anyone has any additional questions or information, we're more than happy to kind of answer those questions at the end of this session, but also connect with us and we'll be able to kind of get that packet to you. So a few simple steps to starting a chapter. One, identify an adult team leader and connect with the iCAN team. We love to have our kids and really encourage leadership. So we love to have our kids be the chapter leaders or co-chairs or whatever kind of leadership title. We encourage chapters to build out kind of organizational structure in that way, but we do require an adult team leader in order to be able to participate in the bi-monthly chapter leader meetings, and also take in our communication that we send and disseminate it to the kids about the different opportunities that crop up at iCAN all the time. Now you can also establish a partner organization. This is not required. I do want to emphasize that, but it is sometimes helpful, especially if you're located near a university or a children's hospital. A school can even be a partner organization, or your local library can be a partner organization. But this is helpful in order to have a safe and secure meeting place, or potentially additional donorship funds if that is something you believe your chapter would like and need. And you can also reach out to us and we can help identify one if at all possible. And then the final step to starting an iCAN chapter is completing the new chapter agreement form within iCAN, and that's located within the iCAN startup packet, chapter startup packet. And this form is very simple, not legally binding, just it simply kind of confirms the name and your affirmation of attending our bi-monthly chapter leader meetings, and trying to do your very best at sending out the opportunities that we are able to provide.
Oh yeah, sorry, Javi. Okay, so I'll go ahead and present. So we are celebrating our 10th anniversary of having our annual summits. Our very first one was in Washington, D.C., and as you know, that because I mentioned it prior, our 10th one will be held in Bari, Italy, and the dates run from July 15th to 19th, and our registration officially opens tomorrow at 6 a.m. PST, 9 a.m. EST. And again, the summit is an amazing space that allows for collaboration among medical doctors, industry leaders, kids, and it really builds that camaraderie between them. And the kids in that space are actually allowed to, share their opinions. And at the summit, we actually have kids, editing consent documents and participating in that feedback loop that we talked about, but in like the physical world, beyond just doing a virtual survey. And it's so amazing how they're able to interact with each other, the industry leaders and the kids. And then kids also, like at the last summit, for instance, the FDA, they were having discourse amongst themselves about what the FDA should consider for kids. So it's an amazing opportunity. We would love to have you there. Again, it's in Bari, Italy from July 15th to the 19th. Again, registration opens tomorrow. We're super excited, and we're all about empowering patients to change the pediatric landscape. And this is where we do it physically.
Thank you so much. And I also wanted to add that the summit is really just one of those events where, it's not often you see kids from all over the world come together and, maybe they haven't seen each other in 2-3 years, but they're coming and they immediately find friends, and everyone is included in all of our events. The kids coming there kind of understands and have shared experiences and maybe feeling kind of excluded. And so this is a really welcoming and warm event. We do also provide kind of multiple opportunities for our different groups at the summit. For our young professional network groups and those kids who come, we offer kind of networking opportunities and special sessions. We also highlight our youth council and all of our different programs at the summit. And we also do fun things at the summit as well. We have our local kids chapter helps us every year. Our host chapter helps us create like local guides for the city and our t-shirts for each summit. And so we plan special events that kind of cater to that area and make sure all of the kids are able to kind of go and explore the area as well.
And just to add one more thing to what Abby said, we have field trips to like the university and the hospital. So kids are interacting, within the scientific community in those ways. And there's also amazingly fun activities for them as well that were arranged by the host chapter. So we're excited for that.
Thank you. Okay, so other ways to get involved in iCAN. Maybe you're not able to start a chapter at this time, or maybe you won't be able to make it to the summit this year, although we hope everyone will. But there's so many different ways to get involved and participate with iCAN. outside of kind of just general chapter organizations. One of the best ways that we are able to kind of offer an opportunity to engage with the healthcare community on kind of a personal level is with our monthly Ask the Expert series. We run this series every month, typically the third week of the month at 11 a.m. Eastern. So that's 8 a.m. PST. Yes, 8 a.m. PST and 5 p.m. CET if you're located in Europe. This next session is actually this Saturday. The topic is Warriors Unite, Overcoming Childhood Pain and Nurturing Mental Health, and is actually featuring a guest from the U.S. Pain Foundation, Ms. Casey Cashman, Dr. Melissa Girardi. We're so excited. We hope everyone can attend. It is free and everyone is welcome to come, and it is also recorded and posted at a later date for those who are not able to be there. We are so excited to have both Casey and Dr. Melissa come and speak from their personal expertise, and also from the perspective of the U.S. Pain being members and, you know, running the U.S. Pain Foundation. Our Ask the Expert series, we have a different topic every month. Each topic is informed by our youth council and our kids. So we listen to what our kids kind of want to hear and what they're interested in. Oftentimes that ends up being careers in healthcare, and different ways to participate in healthcare as someone with a condition, what, you know, their future may look. But also some of them are really interested in topics on things like AI and healthcare. Recently in December, we had Joe Chiani from Massimo come and speak, and he was able to share his stories as a patient advocate, leader, and also entrepreneur and inventor as well. If you don't know, Joe Massimo invented the pulse oximeter. So Joe Chiani from Massimo invented the pulse oximeter, and he did a wonderful job coming in and talking to the kids about that topic. But watch out for the next couple sessions as well. I think it's cropped off the series here, unfortunately, but our next Ask the Experts after this Saturday's will be April 6th at the same time, 11 a.m. And we will be, goodness, so sorry, I forgot the topic there. Sabina, do you mind jumping right in for that?
Sorry. So our next topic is, again, like Abby said, it's April 6th. We have a nurse. Her name is Mary Jenner, and she's actually an author too of The Butterfly Pig. And she has created toy medical devices so that they show more inclusivity for patients. So we see like dolls with IV bags and dolls with needles, so that it's just a really inclusive toy. So she'll be speaking next, and she'll also be talking about her book. So we're very excited to have her on. And if you haven't heard of The Butterfly Pig, definitely read it. It's an amazing book.
Thank you. So we love the Ask the Expert series. All of the kids are able to have the opportunity to hop on and have this kind of fireside chat personal connection with our speakers and ask any questions they want. But we welcome everyone to attend. It's open to all. Also, like I mentioned, we do have our various programs outside the Kids Chapter Network. We have our Youth Council, our Young Professionals Network, our Parents and Siblings chapters. All of those are kind of open for you to apply and join, and we would love to have you.
Okay, so we have a ton of open projects, and like Abby said, if you aren't, so much able to join a chapter just yet, you can still participate in our projects. You can still try to join like youth council or the virtual chapter, which I lead. So I would be excited to see anyone there. But our first opportunity is iCAN by Kismet. I told you that we collaborate with a number of partners in industry to give them feedback on their products. So Kismet actually created a telehealth program for kids, and so we're providing feedback on that, and our kids will actually be able to see their platform and provide feedback so that Kismet can change their platform if needed and legally necessary and able to do it. So the survey link is right here, and we are specifically looking for kids who are within the 8 to 10 age group. So if you want to participate in that, you can definitely do that. Another opportunity we have, I was talking about it before, is iCAN by Biomodem survey. That's the one with assistive devices or the robotic exoskeleton. And he created a device called the Spark. And the Spark essentially is going to be reviewed by our kids, and through this survey, he's going to be provided feedback and hopefully make those changes so he can get that iCAN seal of approval. And then lastly, we also have the Voices of iCAN memoir project. So if you are involved in iCAN, then we would love to hear your story and your journey about why you chose to be involved in iCAN. And that was actually a project that one of our kids made up. His name is Will, and he's only 15 years old. And he came to me with this amazing idea of, I want to create a project where everyone can share their stories. And he ran the project by me, and he spearheaded the whole thing. And we want to turn it into an ebook. So we're super excited for that opportunity.
Thank you. And I'll just kind of, I know we're getting close to time here. Maybe we want a little bit more time for questions. So we'll kind of speed through the next couple of slides. So we are hosting our first annual iCAN Challenge of 10 to celebrate their 10th anniversary. This is a fundraiser that everyone is able to participate in. We would love to have you. On March 30th, we love to invite you to kind of grab your friends, your kids, and choose a challenge of 10, whether or not it's walking 10 minutes, doing 10 good deeds, baking 10 cakes. It's a very inclusive challenge. Whatever you're able to do, we would love to have it. You're, of course, encouraged to find a local sponsor to support your challenge, post pictures, tag us, use our hashtag, but we would love to have you kind of support the initiative, even if you aren't able to find kind of a local sponsor. We also are able to offer the opportunity to partner with one of our chapters who may not be able to kind of fundraise for themselves. One of our sponsors, the Pediatric Trials Network, is partnering with our Kids Uganda chapter in order to help raise funds for them to come to the summit. All money will go towards bringing kids from around the world to the 2024 Annual Research and Advocacy Summit. We encourage you to start now if you'd like, but we're having everyone kind of post and support on that March 30th date. The QR code is here to sign up, but we're happy to send kind of any sort of information down the line if anyone has any questions.
Thank you, Abby. So another way that you can support iCAN is anyone who donates $25 plus will receive this special edition of the iCAN book that was actually all illustrated by one of our kids who is affiliated with the Italy chapter. And if you look, there's a sample illustration to your right, and it's just amazing. And it's a book that really emphasizes what our kid members or youth members can do rather than what they can't do. So we're looking at that asset model rather than the deficit model, which we really empowers our youth, and we endorse that. And so here, if you see it, you can scan this barcode and it will link you to our Zeffy page where we are trying to raise funds for our annual summit. And there's different options where you can choose to, sponsor a whole child trip, or, even $1 could help our summit. So we appreciate any donation, but remember, if you do get that $25, you will have access. We will ship you personally this iCAN book. And remember, if someone tells you can't do something, you can actually do it.
Thank you, Sabina. So this kind of the end of our presentation. Thank you all for sticking around and learning a little bit about iCAN and all of the different ways we engage with the pediatric and also just in general community. In any case, we would love to kind of open up the floor for questions. And once again, thank you so much, Casey, and also Amy, for having us on and kind of letting us speak today.
Thank you, Casey, and thank you, Amy. We appreciate you.
No, thank you both for putting on that amazing presentation. And I love learning more and more about iCAN every time I talk to one of you or Leanne. It's always so refreshing. And I think everybody on this call agrees that the pediatrics voice needs to get heard more. And I think slowly but surely that is starting to happen. And thanks for all the work that you guys are doing. And so similar to us. You guys believe in the whole family and how the whole family is affected by this. And so many people just think that the pediatric pain warriors, we call them, but that they're the only ones that are affected. And so it is nice to see that you guys take into account the siblings, which are extremely affected, as well as the parents and caregivers. So I just wanted to make note of that. And I also wanted to say that I know that you guys have a few chapters at some of the local children's hospitals, such as Lurie's Children's Hospital, I believe, and Texas Children's Hospital, that you guys have some chapters there. So I would also strongly encourage individuals that to reach out to iCAN, and maybe there is one already established at their hospital that they just weren't aware of. So I would strongly encourage individuals to do that. So I got a question that was text messaged to me, and they said, how do they get in touch with you? Do you guys have an email address, or is that something I can share with the individuals on this call after this presentation? Do they get right in touch with you? Is it through your website? What is the best way for individuals to get in touch with iCAN?
So you could do either. You could either reach out directly to Abby or myself. I don't think we put our emails in here, but Casey, I don't know if there's a chat open, but if you're able to, oh, there we go. There's Leanne's email. If you want to message Leanne, she will always CC us. So Abby and I will get that email, but also you can go on the icanresearch.org site, and there you can go ahead and write a message to us, and we would absolutely love to get you involved in iCAN.
I will say both of us are more than comfortable with you sharing our contact information to anyone on the call after, so please feel free to do so. I do also want to mention that as of tomorrow as well, the iCAN website is going through a little bit of a rebrand and will be launched tomorrow. So it hopefully will be much easier and streamlined in order to get in touch with us that way. The contact sheet will be located at the bottom of the website as it is now. But so I just want to mention, for anyone visiting the website today versus maybe visiting it tomorrow, it'll look quite a bit different.
I feel like I can like go look at it again tonight.
Your last chance is not tonight. So
and then see what the rebranding looks like tomorrow. That's exciting.
Yes. Exciting. We're very excited about it.
So for the individuals on the call, if you do have any last minute questions, go ahead and type them in the Q&A. But the other one that was sent to me was for you ladies, and it says, I don't know where I'm from. It said, what is something that you guys as like your most like favorite memory from iCAN, or a memory that sticks out the most from helping a child?
So for me, when I was at the annual summit in San Diego, actually one of the kids and I bonded like to another level. I'm a teacher, but this girl, I was just amazed at like her artistic work, and just who she was as a person. And she was so caring. Like, you should have seen, she actually was friends with the girl that we had showed in the video, Megan. And at the end of the summit, she wrote me this long note that said, thank you so much for all your work. I appreciate you so much. And literally, it brought me to tears when I read it. So knowing that I'm making an impact on the kids, again, kids are my main priority. I think kids are so important. They're the next generation. They have voices that should be heard. They're just amazing. So getting that letter to me was the most impactful experience that I ever had.
And I will say, honestly, it's so hard to choose because there's so many of them. I could easily choose 15 different times at the previous summit to kind of speak about, but I'm going to pull an example we have from one of our Ask the Expert series. Sometimes we flip the script, we have the kids be the experts. And so one month we had Megan, who we saw in the video, come on, and she was one of our experts that that session. And we were sharing as an introduction, I said, you know, and you all are so inspirational to us as kids, and we're so excited for you to be here, you know, kind of general kind of things like that. And she jumped on, she said, I had no idea that I could even be considered an inspiration. That I'm so happy that I'm an inspiration to people. And that was so wonderful and so special to hear. In any case, so that's one of my favorites.
There's
I
a lot
love
to
that. Go ahead.
Abby said. Like right when she said that, I was like, oh, there's more.
Well, that's the problem, right? When well, all four of us that are in the field that we're doing, because
Mhm.
we love the work that we do, right? And we love making a difference for those children. So then it's like, oh, how do you pick just one? Because then there's not just one, right? But that's also what motivates us, right? And what keeps us going on those days that it's long and we're sitting here I mean, I'm on the East Coast, so it's like 8 o'clock at night, you know, but it's like, I don't mind because we know that we're helping individuals. And I agree that the minute that we can empower
Mhm.
kids and give them make them understand and realize that their voice matters, we've changed the trajectory of their journey now from here on out, and in all aspects of life, right? Not even just on their chronic pain journey or their, you know, disease-based journey. I mean, it is literally can be used from that point on, which is just so incredible. So that's amazing for you guys. So thank you for that. And Amy, did you have any questions? I wasn't sure if you had any questions or if you were good.
Like if I personally have any questions, I mean, I think that I'm probably going to want to circle back to both these amazing women to kind of think about like ways that Migraine at School would utilize, you know, this force of youth at iCAN. Like, you know, as I'm watching you kind of share all the things that you guys do and looking at what it is that we provide and making sure that it does make sense for the audience that we serve. Yeah.
Wonderful. And I will say that for everyone online who maybe is running another organization or would like to partner us, we'd love to share resources. And so if you have events, if you have programs coming up that you think our kids would be interested in, we would be happy to share those as well. We would love to give our kids as many opportunities as possible and know that community partnership is so important, especially when you are kind of working and building nonprofit work.
I agree completely. And one of the another question that probably maybe the last one that has come through is there a list of chapters, or will there be a list of chapters on the new site, or is there one on the old site now? I'm not sure, so I'm gonna turn that over.
Yes, there's a list of chapters. All you have to hit is chapters on the top tab, and they're all listed so that anyone can see exactly which chapters are already established. And again, if a chapter is not established, you can establish your own chapter. You can reach out to someone at your school or a child life specialist, or even, as Abby said, your local library. Or again, you could even try to join youth council or the virtual chapter. Those ones are accessible to anyone. So long as you have a phone or a computer, you can join us. And we'd be more than happy to have you as an iCAN kid.